Judith, thanks for making the time.
Oh, that's okay. You said on the phone it was something to do with checking how I am.
Well, that's certainly important. You've been back a few weeks now, and I just wanted to keep an eye on things and see if there's anything you need support with.
Well, thanks for asking,
also,
Alex. I actually did have a really difficult phone call this morning with one of the mentors. It was to do with the new practice placements and early year service. She was complaining about one of the students, and a really good student. And she was saying that her work is lousy, she's difficult, she's huffy, inflexible, and that's something I've never seen in her before. It's Joanne Coley, third year student, so, I've known her for a while.
So what do you want to do?
Well, I'm going to have to go up there this afternoon now and try and get her to apologise. I mean, she's only got about a week left of her placement, so it's just a damage limitation, really. So I'll speak to her, speak to the mentor, see if we can sort something out. I mean, as I said, a really good student, and I don't want this to be a black mark against her, and I don't want to lose the placement.
Well, yeah, I mean, are there any other students on the same placement?
Well, I did have a student out there last year in the autumn, and they had a lovely time, a really lovely time. So Joanne is only the second student I've had there, so it is early days. But as you know, it's really difficult getting these placements sorted, and I don't want to lose it. So hopefully, if I speak to her, speak to the mentor, we can sort something out. But I just think she's one of these people that can be a little bit controlling.
Right. Well, if there's anything I can do, then let me know.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, Alex. But apart from that, I think everything's fine.
Oh, good.
So if there is nothing else, I would really rather get on. I've got quite a lot to do now, and I have to go out this afternoon.
Oh, of course, but there was something else I wanted to discuss with you.
Oh, what's that?
It's to do with the CDC meeting we had last Friday.
Mm-hmm. What about it?
Well, I was a little surprised at the amount of work that you'd done on the feasibility study.
Oh.
We were all a bit surprised.
What do you mean?
Well, it's a piece of work we should all be contributing to, not just leaving up to one person.
Well, of course, in an ideal world, but in the real world, it does usually fall to one person.
You must have been working hard on this since February.
Yeah, and I did a lot of work on it before Christmas as well. And when I came back, I certainly did see it as a priority.
Well, how much time do you think you have been spending on this?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, somebody does usually end up doing most of the work. It's what happens, really.
Well, I wouldn't want you to be focusing on that to the detriment of other areas of your work. That's all.
I don't understand what you're getting at.
Well, it's just that the feasibility study is a joint responsibility, and I'm just concerned that you might lose sight of other things that are your sole responsibility, like your research grant application.
Alex, we have a deadline of June to complete this feasibility study. It's in the school strategy. It's a priority. If we don't submit it this year, we will be waiting another whole year for any response on funding. It is a priority.
Yes, of course, I realise that.
Alex, I did a chunk of work on this in November. And then at the February meeting, when I've only just returned to work, I find out that nobody's even bothered to look at it.
Well, that's not quite true, Judy.
Well, that's how it looked to me.
Well, it wasn't that we hadn't looked at it. We had to defer discussion because, well, we had to rewrite the ethical framework because of the problem with the University Ethics Committee.
Alex, there was more than enough time to discuss both things. There was no need to be rewriting the framework at that meeting.
We agreed that that was the priority for that meeting. We had to get it submitted before the next meeting of the University Ethics Committee. Judith, we agreed this at the meeting.
I didn't agree.
Well, I'm sorry, but I was under the impression that we all agreed.
No.
Right, well, I'll revisit the minute then.
Well, you can do that if you want, Alex. But that's why I wanted this discussed properly last Friday. Somebody needs to see this as a priority. We've only got 3 months left to finish this.
I realise that.
So instead of being surprised how much work I've done in this, it'd be nice if you showed a little bit of appreciation.
Well, I'm sorry that you think I haven't appreciated the work that you've done on this, because I certainly have. But the feasibility study is a joint responsibility between the four of us. You have other priorities, like the lit review for your research grant application. But it's one of the objectives on your PDR. We agreed it last June. I'm concerned that we may have lost sight of this objective. It was carried over from the previous year.
So you're assuming that I've done nothing about that?
No, but I haven't heard anything from you. I'm just concerned that we may have lost sight of this in all the work that you've been doing on the feasibility study.
Well, I have collected most of the relevant articles together, and it is just a case of going through them.
Oh, great. So, what progress will you have made by the time of our next PDR in June, do you think?
Alex, you tell me that the reason for this meeting is to find out how I am. And once I get here, it seems that you've just brought me here to have a go, and I don't think that's very fair.
Well, finding out how you are is certainly important, but I did say on the phone that there were another couple of things that I wanted to discuss.
Oh, well, I think you should have made that clear from the beginning.
Well, I'm sorry you think that I didn't do that.
Look, Alex, I will do what I can with the lit review. But I'm not sure there's much I can do at the moment. I mean, even if Jenny, Martin and yourself actually start work on the feasibility study, I have still got a lot of pressure coming from elsewhere. Marina needs a lot of support at the CDC, and I want to give her as much time as I possibly can. Then there's all these problems with the placement at the moment. Then there'll be exams, marking. I mean, I will do my best, but I've only got so much time, just like everyone else.
Right, well, if you can let me know what you can manage to do by June on the lit review, then I would appreciate that.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you, Alex.